Hello guys, welcome to Daily Current Affairs program and Reason by Team and Light. Today we'll be talking about three topics. The first one is fugitive economic offenders. We'll be looking in respect to both prelims and mains point of view, with special focus on Fugitive Economic Offenders Act 2018. The second topic is judicial vacancies, both with respect to prelims and mains, especially after recent Supreme Court directive to fill up the High Court vacancies. This topic is in news. So we'll be looking with focus on ad hoc judges and National Judicial Infrastructure Corporation. The last topic will be International Server Alliance. We'll be looking at with respect to prelims point of view. And we'll be also looking for COP21 and INDC with respect to the same topic. So let's move on to the first topic. That is the fugitive economic offenders. This topic came in news recently with respect to enforcement directors transfer of defaulters assets to public sector banks. You might have read this news in today's The Hindu. Before going to the topic proper, let us examine what is ED or Enforcement Directorate, which comes under Ministry of Finance, Department of Revenue. It's an organization working to enforce FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999, and PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. This organization is in news recently with respect to few great guys like Nirav Modi, Chomsky, Malaya case, etc., trying to bring back or bring to justice guys who are engaged in money laundering issues. With respect to this topic, we'll be looking to Fugitive Economic Offenders Act 2018. Okay, we are hearing this fugitive guys as a result of recent Chomsky issue and also Malaya issue. So who is a fugitive economic offender? Any person, especially any Indian, with an arrest warrant against him who flees from the country to avoid criminal prosecution and who refuses to come back to India to face criminal prosecution. Such persons are known as fugitive economic offenders. And to deal with such guys, we have got the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act 2018. It's a very empowering provision, especially as a result of greater number of guys, especially economic fugitives who have been leaving country to evade the law of the land. And with respect to this article, we will be also dealing with PMLA 2002. This is an empowering provision to prevent money laundering, which is one of the major issues that the Indian economy, not only Indian economy, economics across globe has been facing in the recent times. To ensure that money laundering cases does not occur again and to confiscate properties of persons who are engaged in money laundering, this PMLA Act 2002 has been enforced. We also saw a recent amendment to PMLA Act, which made offences cognizable and non-bailable under PMLA Act. This was a 2019 amendment, and also the 2019 amendment expanded the scope of proceeds of crime to enable Enforcement Directorate attach properties directly or indirectly related to scheduled offences. Okay, so that's a major points with respect to PMLA Act. So we need to put such fugitive offenders under behind the bar to ensure justice. Otherwise, more such guys will be engaging in such money laundering or fugitive offenses, which in recent times has been a great cause of stress to our public sector banks, especially with respect to NPAs. The non-performing assets have been increasing in the recent times. as a result of which the public sector banks has to engage in loan restructuring. Such major issues with respect to public sector banks you might be hearing in news. To avoid such cases, especially with respect to that Nirav Modi and Chomsky issue, we need to improve the bank safety or improve the bank audits, safety audit. And for if we need to ensure the Basel III norms are being upheld, the basic auditing of banks has to be strengthened. The major issues the banks in recent times has been facing, this is an allied topic, we are looking to the mains perspective, is to crony non-business consideration by banks. That was the issue with all these three guys, Nirav Modi, Chomsky or Mallya. The major issue is crony non-business consideration by banks. Actually, if the banks go strictly as per their norms to give loans, most of these guys will not be getting bank loans. The second issue is these guys divert the fund to other purpose, means to purposes other than business motive for their personal gains, which dilute the provisions of loans and further put the banks in a dock. Okay, so these are the major issues, and as a result of all this, the sum total is even if the banks liquidate the stressed asset, the scenario in the country is such that we will not be able to sell most of these because of lack of interest by new purchases. Okay, so that's the first topic, fugitive economic offenders. Do read the article, you'll be gaining some new perspective, especially in the final passages, final paragraphs, we have got some new topics. So now coming to the second topic, it's the judicial vacancies. Recently, the Chief Justice of India, N.V. Ramana, has asked all the high courts to ensure that the vacancies in their concerned high courts is filled as soon as possible, especially in such a bad scenario with respect to COVID. When the number of cases, if it increases, or the backlog of cases, if it's increasing, it further puts stress on the judicial system. Okay, so under Article 224A, to resolve this, the Chief Justice of India, means the Supreme Court, under special circumstances, has asked the high courts to appoint ad hoc judges. It's a special scenario, only 2 or 3 times this has happened in the history. Supreme Court asking under Article 224A to appoint ad hoc judges. These are persons means who are eligible to become high court judge, or means eligible to become high court judge means they have already been judges of high court, and for the time being their means experience or their expertise is utilized to ensure the backlog of cases is being addressed. Coming to the topic proper, the huge backlog of cases needs speedy disposal. Otherwise, at present we are seeing nearly 57 lakh pending cases across India. If the pending cases increases, actually it will be more than difficult for the judicial system to resolve this. So this is only a means ad hoc mechanism. The proper mechanism is appointment of judges. For that, collegium system is present in India. You might be knowing under Article 217 of Constitution, the judges are appointed by President based on recommendation. The initial process is the concerned high courts collegium sends recommendation to Supreme Court collegium. The High Court collegium consists of the Chief Justice of that concerned High Court plus 2 senior most judges. These 3 guys sit together and send recommendation for few judges to the Supreme Court collegium. The Supreme Court collegium consists of the Chief Justice of India and 2 other senior most judges. So the Supreme Court collegium, based upon scrutinizing the various list of judges, They sent a recommendation to Government of India for approval. At present, the major debate is counterattacks between the Supreme Court collegium or Supreme Court or the judicial system in total versus Government of India for not clearing the collegium recommendation or giving belated or very late recommendation to Government of India as far as new judges to be appointed. Okay, and at the same time, we are seeing another topic in news which is related to judicial infrastructure. That is the creation of a national judicial infrastructure corporation has been asked by the present Chief Justice of India, N.V. Ramana. This is a proposal. The major mandate of National Judicial Infrastructure Corporation is to create self-sufficient judicial infrastructure across India. Okay, so that's a major mandate of National Judicial Infrastructure Corporation. Now, the other challenges faced by the judicial system in this present time is digital divide. This backlog of cases, especially as a result of COVID scenario, most of the cases has been held via video conferencing. In such a scenario, if the general population is not aware about digital infrastructure, it will definitely hamper resolution of cases or bringing justice to the common man. So we need to address this digital divide or backlog of cases scenario too. So that was the second topic, judicial vacancies. Now coming to the third topic, it's the International Solar Alliance. This topic did not come directly in news, but we saw it recently, means today's news, that India and Greece has signed an agreement. So we had a bilateral dialogue between India and Greece, led by our External Affairs Minister. During this, Greece signed the International Solar Alliance agreement. So we need to know what International Solar Alliance is. It's an India-led initiative. India and France both led this initiative. It was initiated during COP21 or Paris Agreement. You might be knowing about Paris Agreement. During COP21, it aims to limit global warming to well below 2 or preferably 1.5 degrees Celsius compared to pre-industrial levels. It's a major initiative to control global warming. So the value is 1.5 degrees Celsius compared to pre-industrial levels. It's a legally binding international treaty on climate change. So during this Paris Climate Summit, India took an initiative to create an International Solar Alliance. Presently, all countries can join International Solar Alliance. The headquarters is in Gurugram, India. Its major mandate is to promote clean energy applications to ensure we reduce our carbon footprint. With respect to the same topic, we need to look towards the intended nationally determined contributions. This is a linked topic. This is a set of commitments that countries decided during COP21. Okay, so India's INDC's intended nationally determined contributions includes to reduce emissions intensity of its GDP by 33 to 35% by 2030 from the 2005 level. The second important one is to create an additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent through additional forest and tree cover by 2030. So these are the two major commitments under India's INDCs. This is an important topic, prelims point of view. So this is International Solar Alliance and associated prelims points. Okay, so this was the three topics that we discussed with you today. Thank you all. Looking forward to tomorrow's session.